What's going on, everybody? It's YGO Paladin back here with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Roboppy's newly revealed Appliancer archetype. Now, this archetype has officially been revealed to us. There are 11 new cards to talk about, and these will be dropping in the collection pack in 2020, which will be the Battles of Legends set that's coming out for us here in the TCG. And I gotta say, this archetype is actually pretty interesting. I think it could have some, I don't want to say rogue potential, but I can see this deck actually being a problem if played correctly. And I don't know, I'm actually excited for this archetype. And before we start, they are machine monsters with less than 500 attack points, and some people are already calling for machine dupe to get banned. And I'm going to do my best to have a discussion about that near the end of this video and talk a little bit more about that. But let's go ahead and get straight into these cards because we do have a lot to talk about. And the first card we're going to be talking about is Appliancer Socket Roll. It is a dark level 1, 100 attack and defense points machine effect monster. And its effect reads, you can only use each of this card's name's first and second effects once per turn. First effect, if you control an Appliancer monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Second effect, if an Appliancer Socket Roll is special summoned to your field while you control this monster, you can special summon one Appliancer Socket Roll from your deck. So essentially you have to control this one, special summon another one from your hand, and then you can special summon the third copy from your deck. So though this might seem a little bit too situational, there actually is the help of another Appliancer monster that will actually make this come full circle to actually help out in terms of having at least like 6 copies of it in your deck, sort of. So this card, all in all, is not that bad. You control an Appliancer, including itself. You can special summon it from your hand. I actually like that, and I think it works really well with the rest of the cards. And then the next card I'm going to talk about right now is the one that actually goes hand in hand with this card, and that is Appliancer Copy Buckle. It is a dark level 1, attack 0/0 and defense 0 machine effect monster. You can only use each of this card's name's first and second effects once per turn. First effect, during your main phase, you can target one Appliancer you control. Special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, this card's name is treated as the name of that target until the end phase. Second effect, during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Appliancer monster you control. Special summon one monster with the same name from your hand or graveyard. So this is exactly a copy of the card, that hence is why it's a copy machine, and it copies Appliancer Socket Roll when it's summoned. So it becomes Socket Roll when it's summoned, then you activate the effect of Socket Roll, the original Socket Roll, on your field, and then you can special summon one from your deck. So these do go hand in hand with each other, and it lets you spam out some more Appliancer monsters from your deck, and will set up the Link monsters, which we'll get to in a little bit. The next card we're going to be talking about is Appliancer Breaker Buckle. It is a water monster, level 1, attack 0 and defense 0. It's a machine effect monster, and its effect reads, during damage calculation, if your Appliancer monster battles an opponent's monster, you can discard this card. Your battling monster cannot be destroyed by that battle. Also, you take no battle damage from that battle. Second effect, if an Appliancer monster you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard, from your hand, field, graveyard instead. Sorry, the text is a little bit different here. So this is essentially just your protection for your Appliancer monster. Unfortunately, can only protect one monster, but at least you still have some type of protection from either a battle or by a card effect, as long as it's on the field or in the graveyard. And honestly, this isn't so bad. I can still see people running 3 of each. These are all the main deck monsters, so I can still see people playing 3 of each of these Appliancer monsters. So now we're going to go into the Link monster, and the first one we have here is Appliancer Sleklopus. I actually don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry. It is a dark Link 2. Its Link markers is bottom left and bottom. Its attack is 0, and it requires 2 Appliancer monsters. First effect, this card cannot be targeted by 4 attacks or opponent's card effects while it is linked, so it has protection there. Second effect, during damage calculation, if an Appliancer Link monster you control that is co-linked to this card battles an opponent's monsters, that co-linked monster gains 1000 attack for each monster co-linked to this card during that damage calculation only. So it helps beef up the monsters, which is actually really good because a lot of them have 0 or 1000 attack points. Third effect, once per turn, if an Appliancer Link monster you control that is not co-linked to this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can draw 1 card. So a little I guess, spoiler into this. Each Appliancer monster has an effect that activates when it's either co-linked or not linked at all. So it's up to you to decide how you're going to interact with these monsters, because it does revolve around using them to be co-linked or not co-linked. And it's actually really interesting. So that's actually why I do find this archetype to be really unique. So I thought that was actually really cool. And I'll get more into that once we go into the other Link monsters. So the next Link monster we have is Appliancer Laundry Dragon. It is a water Link 1, and it points to the top. Its attack points is 1500, which is actually the most attack points out of all these monsters. And it requires only one Appliancer monster. Its effect reads, you cannot use this card as Link material during the turn it is Link summoned. And it goes on to say the first effect, neither player takes battle damage from battles involving this card. So all in all, that's some kind of protection there for your life points. Second effect, once per turn, if this co-link card battles an opponent's monster, after damage calculation, you can banish that opponent's monster and it does not target. So that's actually some good spot removal. Third effect, once per turn, if this card battles an opponent's monster while it is not co-linked, after damage calculation, you can destroy that monster, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent's life points equal to its original attack points. So, yeah, this card is really good. I actually like this card. Out of all of them, I like it, the effect, and I actually like the artwork for it too. So, this card, I think, goes well with the one that protects your appliances as well, because it can't be destroyed by battle, and it can protect itself from card effects, and you don't take any damage from this, and it helps remove a monster. Either you're going to banish a monster or you're going to attack into it and then just destroy it, inflict damage. I like this card out of all of them. The next Appliancer Link monster we have is Appliancer Kappa Scale. It is a water Link 1, points to the top, its attack is 0, and it requires one Appliancer monster. Its effect reads, you can only use each of this card's name's first and second effects once per turn. You cannot use this card as a Link material during the turn it is Link summoned. First effect, during your main phase, you contribute this co-linked card, special summon one Appliancer or Link monster from your graveyard except itself. Second effect, during your main phase, you contribute this card that is not co-linked, special summon one level 4 or lower Appliancer monster from your graveyard. So it does have some recursion to this, and I do like this because you can bring out, say, back your Laundry Dragon if you needed to. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, since a lot of these monsters cannot be used as a Link material during the turn they are Link summoned, you can tribute it, special summon the Link monster back, and use that particular copy to go into another Link monster. I think that's how it works. Let me know. And I mean, like, you special summon that copy first, somehow goes to the graveyard or whatever, then you special summon it back with this, and you can use it for a Link if you want to. Let me know if that's actually correct, because it does say cannot be used as Link material the turn it is Link summoned, so I would assume it's not. But yeah, I do like the recursion that it has with your other Link monsters. And yeah, so let's go on to the next one, which we have is Appliancer Vacuum Elephant. It is a Dark Link 1, points to the top right. Its attack is 1000, and it requires one Appliancer monster. And I'm sorry, all these Link monsters are machine. The whole archetype is machine, and I realizing I'm not saying the type. Its effect is you can only use one of this card's names first or second effects once per turn, and only once that turn. So you can only use one of the effects. You cannot use this card as a Link material during the turn it is Link summoned. First effect, during your main phase, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard. Then target one card your opponent controls, destroy that card. So it does have a pop effect, but it does target, so be aware of that. Second effect, during your main phase, if this card is co-linked, you can target one monster in your opponent's main monster zone, destroy that monster. So it does have some really unique pop effects, because if it is co-linked, you can target any card. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. It doesn't even need to be co-linked. During your main phase, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard, then target one card your opponent controls, destroy that card. Yeah, actually, it does not even co-link. I didn't realize that part. But yeah, if it is co-linked, you can target a monster your opponent controls and just destroy it for free. So that's actually really cool. Third effect, if this card is not co-linked, it can attack directly. There's the not co-linked part. So yeah, attacking directly with 1000 attack points, and I believe it will gain a power boost from the other monster as well, because it doesn't say you had to attack an opponent's monster. Actually, it does battle with an opponent's monster. I apologize. So it's only going to be 1000 attack point attack directly. So all in all, still decent card. I do like the pop removal effect of this, and it's really cool. Next, we're going to be talking about is Appliancer Dryer Drake. It is a Fire Link 1, points to the top right, and its attack is 0. It's a Machine Link monster, requires 1 Appliancer monster. You cannot use this card as Link material during the turn it is Link summoned. First effect, this card gains 1000 attack while it is linked. Second effect, once during your battle phase. If this card is co-linked, you could switch the locations of 2 Appliancer monsters in your main monster zone, including this card, and if you do, that other monster can make 2 attacks during each battle phase this turn. So it does help you beef up a monster by attacking twice, which could be deadly if it's co-linked and it gains a power boost from the octopus. Third effect, once per turn, when this card is targeted for an attack while it is not co-linked, you can negate that attack. So this is actually pretty cool. It helps you move your board around to actually make sure that your monsters are co-linked or not co-linked. I do like this because it does have that whole, like, how do you want to build up your board? Do you want to have them co-linked or do you not want to have them co-linked? What effect do you want to use that turn? And so I do like this. I do like how they do have a way of moving your field. I wish it was actually a spell card and not a link monster effect. But you know what? I'll take it. So this card is actually pretty decent. And I do like that it gains 1000 attack while it's linked. But a lot of these monsters really need some power boost because they're the only highest attack point is 1500. Then you have 1000. Then the rest are 0. So yeah. So that concludes all the monsters and link monsters for the deck. Now we're going to be getting into the spell cards. The first card we're going to be talking about is Appliancer Electrical Lyrical World. It's a field spell, and its effect reads you can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. First effect, when this card is activated, you can add 1 Appliancer card from your deck to your hand except a field spell card. And second effect is once per turn, if an Appliancer link monster is link summoned to your field, you can add 1 Appliancer monster from your graveyard to your hand. Third effect, once per turn, when either player's monster declares an attack, you can remove 1 Appliancer monster you control to... you can move 1 Appliancer monster you control to another of your main monster zone. I apologize for that. So I like this card. Everybody knows that if you have a field spell that searches, that's actually pretty good. And the fact that this searches any Appliancer card and not a monster actually helps the situation because we only have 3 main deck monsters and we only have 3 spell cards. So being able to search your Appliancer cards is actually really important right now. So that way you can start off your combos if you needed to. And this field spell also has some built-in protection in terms of like being able to move your monster. I'm sorry, not built-in protection. Like it has a built-in mechanic where you can move a monster. So I do like that. I did forget about this before I said the other link monster. So I apologize for that as well. And I do like that you can also recycle your monsters from the graveyard because with only 3 main deck monsters, you're only going to be having 9 monsters in your deck at total, more than likely. So being able to recycle those monsters is going to be very important later in the game. So definitely a really cool field spell. Next, we're going to be looking at is Appliancer Reuse. It is a normal spell card, and its effect reads, target 1 Appliancer monster in your graveyard. Special summon that monster, but it is sent to the bottom of its owner's deck when it leaves the field. So this is actually really good. 1, because it is not once per turn, and you can special summon the Appliancer monster. But what I really do like the most is that it doesn't get banished or anything like that. It just goes back to the bottom of the deck if it leaves the field. So that's actually really unique, I think, because I don't think there's any effect like that other than Destrudo, which is now banned. So I don't know any other card that will actually let you put it in the bottom of the deck rather than it being banished, you know, after it leaves the field. So this is actually really decent. It helps you special summon back a monster, and then it lets you recycle that monster as well in terms of putting it back in the bottom of your deck. So I think that's really cool. Next, we're going to be looking at the last spell card and the last card in general for Appliancers, which is Appliancer Test. It is a normal spell card, and its effect reads, you can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. First one effect is target 1 Appliancer Link monster you control. Special summon as many Link 1 Appliancer Link monsters as possible from your graveyard to zones that it points to, but they are banished during the end phase. So this is actually that 1 card that does banish when you do special summon, but it makes sense because you special summon as many Link 1 monsters to zones that it points to. So if you do have the octopus, you can special summon back at least 2 Link 1 monsters from your graveyard to it being co-linked or not co-linked, however you decide to use your monster's effects. So this card's actually really good. More than likely, you're going to be running 3 of every single Appliancer card, I assume. So this is actually probably one of those cards that you could run 3 of, maybe even 2, but I think 3 is a way better situation to have it, so that way you can either draw in and set up your board for maybe a big old play. And again, let me know about this, if you could use those monsters for link materials if you summon them that turn. Like, if I summon Laundry Dragon and then it goes to the graveyard, and I special summon Laundry Dragon back from the graveyard, it does let me use that for a link material, right? Because it's not that same copy anymore that was link summoned. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section down below. So that is all the Appliancer cards that we got. I keep saying monsters, and I apologize. It's because there's a majority of monster cards. And there are 11 new cards, and this is it. Apparently, I did hear that we were supposed to have more cards from the anime, and as shameful I am to admit this, I have not finished watching Brains. I know it's done. I should have watched it already, but I had not finished watching it. So I'm not aware of any other Appliancer cards that were used in the anime, but some people are talking about some lion I'm not very familiar with. And that makes me think if we're going to be getting more cards from the archetype, because even the spell card lets you search something that isn't a field spell. So why didn't they just say itself? Was kind of interesting. Kind of like how this Hidden City, oh, well, not the Hidden City. That searches the Subterror, and that card's not a Subterror. So bad example there. But it just lets me think that, are we going to get another field spell? Because why didn't you just say itself? So let me know if there were any other Appliancer cards that I do not know about, because all I know is about this lion, apparently, that people are kind of upset that didn't happen. But we could see a possible wave 2 happening, because remember when Time Lords came out in the OCG and TCG eventually, we didn't get all of them all in one hit. It did take another set for them to come out with the rest of the support, which was a year too long. But I think it was a year long. This happened like a long time ago, so I kind of forgot. But we didn't get all the Time Lords in one set. We did take some time to get the others, so maybe we could be seeing that happening here again. So enough of that. Let's get into what cards can be used for this archetype. And you already know Machine Duplication is definitely a candidate for this whole archetype. Even though there's only going to be 3 monsters, it's still going to be a good card. Next, we have 1 for 1, because all the monsters are level 1s. You can special summon them from their deck. And yeah, nothing much to say on there. And then lastly, we have Where Art Thou? Where Art Thou is actually really good in this archetype, and I didn't realize this until I started seeing it, I think like in another video or something. I saw this somewhere. I wasn't even thinking about this card. And looking at it, yeah, Where Art Thou is actually really good in here, being able to search out Socket Roll, special summoning it to your field, and then probably just getting another special summoning if you already control the Socket Roll. Or you could add the Copy Machine to your hand, and sure, you're going to be taking 2,000 damage, but if you're being able to set up a board that can let you do some really good plays in terms of how you're going to set up your board, if whether they're co-linked or not co-linked, this actually will help you out. Set up at least a couple of monsters on your board to do a link summoning of like a link 2 and probably a link 1. And I actually am surprised I did not think about this card at all. So however I found this, shout out to that video. I honestly can't remember where I watched it that pointed this card out. So this is definitely one of those cards I would highly recommend putting in the deck, because it's definitely going to be used in my personal opinion. So other than these 3 cards, these are all machine monsters. They can all be used with machine support. Luckily, they weren't Cyverse, because that would have been a little bit more ridiculous. But also, none of them have any restrictions. Like you're not locked into Appliancers for the rest of the turn, which is actually really cool. So you can keep going into some other plays if you need to do any other link plays, but you just can't use the link monsters as link materials. So do be aware of that. And other than that, I like this archetype. I don't know if this archetype is going to be rogue, but I think this archetype has some playability. And if we do get some more support down the line, because it makes me think that we are going to get another field spell somehow. And some people are calling for a lion, so I assume we could be getting a second wave of support. Let's just hope it's not a year down the line. So anyways, like with that, I think this archetype does have some playability. I would definitely want to play this online and check it out for myself. And I'll probably be doing a video about this deck, because I do like the concept of it. I do like how unique it is, being able to either being co-linked, not co-linked, and you get 2 different effects. So this is actually really cool, and also kind of reminds me of Morphtronics. Does it ever remind anybody else about I am so sorry. Does it remind anybody else about Morphtronics? Because they always got an ability depending if they were in attack or defense position. And these Link monsters get an ability if it's co-linked or not co-linked, and they're machines. So that's actually really unique, and I think that's actually some of the 5D's nostalgia there. But enough of that. What do you guys think about this archetype? Do you think it has some compatibility? Do you think we'll be getting a second wave? Or do you guys think it's more of a almost rogue deck? It's just not completely rogue, and it's just a fun deck to play. Regardless, I think this is going to be a fun deck, and I definitely would like to test this out. So be on the lookout for a video. More than likely, I'm going to be doing one for this archetype and give my personal opinions about it. I'll try to do a commentary if I can. If not, I just hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. So other than that, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please subscribe to my channel for more upcoming videos like this. Hopefully the next one will be this once they get updated onto EDO Pro. And other than that, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.